So your Gerber daisies come from, yeah.
I have a question before you go so far on. I was just told that when you cut it, you're supposed to cut it at an angle.
Yes.
Can you explain like why?
Yes, very, very good question. The reason these flowers have not been cut at an angle is because they are not put in water yet. You're going to do that when you go home, and and you have to cut them at an angle before you put them back in water. Now, imagine that you cut yourself right now, okay, with a knife. Okay, I don't want you to do it with a knife. Your body is going to form a scab, okay, to protect your skin from any germs and parasites or whatever going into your bloodstream, right? Okay, and there's a scab on there that's going to form on its own. Okay, it's your body's defense system. Okay, and you're not going to bleed to death because of that scab, right? So the flower does the exact same thing. Every time you cut the flower, you're injuring it. Okay, so to protect itself from dying, okay, who wants to die? The flower itself will form a scab at the bottom to protect itself from the removal of any hydration that is in the stem. These flowers were in water, they're in water right now. Okay. If I take it out of water and I cut it, okay, within about 30 seconds a scab will form that will seal the bottom. Okay. You can't see it, but it's there. Okay. And right now, if you put this flower in water, it will not drink.
Okay.
Okay, because it's been sealed. Okay. Now, once it's sealed, before you put it in water, what do you have to do? Cut it one more time. So it'll drink it. Okay. So when you cut it, the next time, let me try to do this without cutting myself. When you cut it, at the point where it's going to go to its final destination, okay, you do want to cut it at an angle. Okay, and the reason you want to cut it at an angle is because you want to give it the greatest amount of surface area from which to drink. If you cut it straight, okay, it's only drinking from a circle this big. If you cut it at an angle, it's drinking from a surface area this big.
Thank you.
That make sense?
I saw you using a knife.
Yeah.
And does it matter since it's a knife?
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's an old wives' tale that says you should cut your flowers underwater. Okay. Don't believe it. Okay. Just when you cut it, be ready to put the flower in water. Okay. That's all. If you don't get a packet, buy a couple of Bayer aspirin and just throw them in the water. It's the exact same thing. But when you have a headache, don't drink the packet. Okay.
When you change some water, do you have to put in the aspirin?
Good question. I'm going to answer that two ways. Okay. And it's not a political thing. I'm not trying to evade the question. The first way, in general, is yes. Okay. When you buy flowers from Starbright, the answer is no. Okay. And the reason it's no is because if we've prepared the flowers properly, if we've cut them, if we arrange them in a vase for you, okay, the solution which we use in our store to hydrate our flowers, okay, is in the water that you will receive the flowers with. Okay. When you have that solution, okay, your flowers, okay, will be so well treated that you can change the water 24 to 48 hours later, okay, and not have to add it. Okay. So, you know, in most reputable flower shops do use some form of a hydrating solution, okay, and you don't really have to do that, but it won't hurt to add.
Would you recommend buying it? So to preserve the life of the...
Sure. Yeah. Most florists give the packets when you buy it. Yeah, but, you know, yeah, absolutely. It's like going to the dentist, you get a free toothbrush. Yes.
Oh my God. Oh, wow.
This is the small one we're raffling off. Everybody have their ticket? Did anybody not get a ticket? You would? Okay. That one. Oh, and there's Hannah.
Wow, beautiful.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
So.
Yeah, I think that's much.
Somebody's pushing over an ankle so everybody can see them cables.
Fantastic.
Well, sometimes it's like, you know, organize something.
Yeah. I'll catch it. I don't have a boyfriend yet.
So, where were we? What did you? No,
You want me to move the next one?
yeah. Just go slowly because I'm about to say.
Wow. I can't go slow.
Yeah.
I have a quick question. So after you cut the flowers at an angle, how long can it be without water?
Seconds. You want to be next to your picture or your vase.
Oh,
Cut it
as
pretty
soon as
much.
possible.
You want it to go in water immediately. Now, when you're cutting your flowers, okay, and you're putting them in a vase, okay, you have to change the water every now. Okay. Had a situation in our store where I was talking to one of the members of our team, and the conversation, I walked into the store, it was early in the morning, I just got there, and I saw a vase, okay, that had 3 or 4 flowers in it, not a lot, okay, and dead murky water that was, you know, this far from the bottom, okay, a couple inches of water in the vase is really tall. So I called the guy over and I said, do me a favor, okay, would you please drink that water? I said, what, are you crazy? I said, no, I mean, you know, have a sip. And he says, but it's dirty. Okay. And I said, I know. Okay. If the water is not clean enough for you to be willing to drink it, why do you expect your flowers to drink it? Okay. If you're not comfortable, what makes you think they are? Make sense?
Water temperature, like lukewarm on the cold side.
No, what you want to do is you want to fill up your pitcher with water, okay, and you want to let it sit, okay, and you want to let it sit, and you want to let it become one with the environment. You put your finger in there, and if it feels no different than when you put your fingers out in the air temperature, it's fine. If it's I wouldn't scald the flowers with hot water, okay, but you know, cold water necessarily won't hurt them. Okay, but if anything, err on the side of cold, but I wouldn't do that. Okay, the shorter the stem of the flower, the longer it will live. Yeah, because the water has a less distance to travel. Okay, so okay, who here likes receiving long stem roses? Okay. From the guy that's going to marry you this afternoon. They're beautiful, okay, I agree, okay, but they will die faster, okay, because the water will not travel as easily to the top of the bloom, okay. Who has ever either received or given roses where the head of the rose is just falling? Okay, that's the reason. Okay, somewhere in that siphon, in that stem, okay, the hydration is clogged. Okay, ever tried drinking a smoothie and they didn't blend it well enough, and one of the blackberries is just kind of stuck there, and you know you can't get it out, right? Okay, it's the exact same thing. The head will droop on the rose, and they will die. Okay.
Is there a way to rehydrate that?
Cut it short. The shorter you cut it, okay, the longer it will live.
But are there any flowers that you shouldn't cut short?
No.
All flowers can be cut short?
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
okay.
And when you receive your flowers, okay, or when you bought your flowers in the market, cut them a little bit, put them in water, enjoy them long, okay. Every day when you change the water, okay, cut an inch, okay, and keep bringing it, because the older the stem gets, the harder it is for it to drink, okay. So it's an age thing, kind of like with me, okay. So and what happens is you want to let the flower, you're giving it more life, okay. It's not the florist's fault if the flowers don't live. Sometimes the flowers are old, okay? Sometimes it's the care, sometimes it's the environment. On a freezing cold day, okay, I could have the best flowers in the world imported from Holland and be in my store at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Socrates could be making an arrangement and it could be 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay. 2 hours later, they're on a truck being delivered to a customer, but it's 20 degrees below zero outside. Okay. In the amount of time that the flowers travel from the inside of my store across the sidewalk to the van, they get enough of a blast of cold air if they're not wrapped properly, okay, to where they will die. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, you know, let's face it, you would not walk outside in 20-degree weather if you're not clothed. Okay, same thing. Okay, it's a living, breathing organism. Okay, now we prevent it by overcompensating wrapping. Okay, and in the dead of winter, the wrapping that we put on our flowers is downright ugly. Okay, and you receive this blob of paper that is entirely unappealing, but when you open it, it's still there and it's nice and it's beautiful, and the frustration has gone away about all the paper that you have. Okay. But, you know, that's, you know, and the same thing happens in the dead of summer. Okay. 100-degree weather, if you're not comfortable, the flower's not. Whether it's 100 degrees or 20 below, that's really what you want to be looking at. Okay. But take care of your flowers and they will always last long. So,
two questions, I'm sorry. How much water do you want to put in a bed?
you want to fill it to the top, okay? You don't want it to spill over. What you don't want to do is have any of your leaves touching the water. If the flower has leaves, okay, you don't want those leaves to touch the water because the water that is, the leaves either of the flower or of the greenery that you have in front of you right now. Now, we've removed the leaves from the flowers. Okay, we promised Bloomingdales we wouldn't make too much of a mess. But the leaves that you have that are touching the water or are in the water will disintegrate and form algae, and that will kill your flowers. Okay, so to answer your question, it's not a matter of how high the water should go. You want to make sure that, and, you know, put your flowers in there and look at them. Is there any foliage in the water? Pull them out quickly, remove the foliage, put it back in. Okay, and that's, you know, pretty much what I can tell you as far as, you know, that's concerned.
And then, so my next question is, so like let's say it's dead of winter and you're walking around, lovely bodega with lovely flowers that are sitting outside. Are those, how do you trust those if they're...
Well, if they're in the bodega and they're outside and it's 20 below, don't buy them. Okay? If they're insulated and they're inside the store or behind one of those, you know, plastic curtains that they put on the sidewalk that I think are illegal, but anyway, then they're okay. I'm not going to speak bad about one part of the industry versus another, but I can tell you that flowers from a professional florist, you want to get married again?
Like, oh my God. And I'm going to renew my vow.
So you want to, I'm sorry, those wedding vows and getting married again. Yeah, I don't want to talk bad about one part of our industry versus another, okay? But I can tell you that in a professional flower shop in a proper setting, okay, the flowers will be treated better, okay? Generally speaking, and going back to where our flowers come from, and we mentioned that roses come from Ecuador, most of our other flowers, most, not all, come from Holland, okay? Now, the Dutch are masters at everything. I thought I was the center of attention. So,
before you go, you know we're like around this whole organic sort of movement.
Yeah.
Is flowers part of that whole thing as well? Like some flowers are organic and some that are not? So what's
and we only buy flowers that are cut humanely.
What do you mean by that?
It is catching on. It is catching on a little bit. There is a shop local movement where people are looking to buy flowers that are grown locally, okay, that have less pesticides, that have less non-organic material, but there's the issue of real estate. And the Hamptons, believe it or not, used to be the #1 grower of roses in the Northeast. And they were beautiful roses, okay? But take that same land, build a house and rent it in the summertime, or grow roses. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's what's happened to a lot of the flower growing regions in the United States. We do grow roses in, we buy flowers that are grown in Florida, and we also buy flowers that are grown in California year round. We also have a very, very strong supply. Who likes peonies? We have a very strong supply of peonies that comes from South Carolina to Vermont. Now, what happens is that peonies are a cold weather spring flower. Okay, the colder the springtime is, but
Fantastic. You have, maybe you like.
Oh, okay. So, but anyway, peonies, cold weather spring flower. As the springtime warms up, peonies will start in South Carolina. Spring becomes warmer and warmer, and we start cutting north through Virginia, through Maryland, and eventually all the way up to Vermont. So that's how the peony season extends.